Hi, my name is Jenny Keffer. I am a PCOS fertility specialist and a certified AIP coach. And all of that's just a fancy way of saying that I help women with PCOS to get pregnant naturally. Today, I want to talk a little bit about some of the top 5 myths surrounding PCOS and getting pregnant. The first thing I'm going to talk about is something that I see a lot in women who have PCOS is they feel like they've done something to cause this. So the first myth is absolutely not true. You didn't do anything to cause this. It isn't something that you brought on. It isn't something that you had any control over. So a lot of women feel like they're responsible if they have PCOS and that they in some way have done something that they should not have done. I think one of the things that I see with my clients a lot is they have family members and sometimes friends who have great intentions, who are consistently suggesting things that they should do in order to get pregnant, or maybe they shouldn't do this or that, and then they're going to be able to get pregnant. And the problem with that is that it's not, again, it's nothing that you've caused to happen, and you're not going to change one thing and magically you're going to become pregnant. It's just not the way that it works. So definitely this is not something that you've caused, and I hope that that's something that you can definitely make peace with, because ultimately you must and need to know that this is not something that you're responsible for. Okay, so that's one of our first myths. Another one that is very, very common, even among the medical community, is we make the assumption that if a woman has PCOS, she is overweight or even obese. This is not necessarily true. I've seen women in my practice who are, in fact, underweight and who are at a normal weight. I've seen women who are very athletic. I've seen women who just run completely on the spectrum as far as their weight. So it's very important that we understand this, because sometimes, again, this goes back to myth number one, well-meaning friends and family, even our doctor, can sometimes say, if you just go lose weight, you're going to be fine. You'll be able to lose weight easily. This is not necessarily true. For women who have PCOS and they are overweight, losing weight is quite difficult. And there's a lot of things that play into that. One of the number one reasons that women with PCOS struggle to lose weight is because of insulin resistance. Again, this is nothing that you have caused. So it's really important to know that even if you are at a normal weight or you're underweight, that doesn't exclude a diagnosis of PCOS. You could definitely have PCOS. That's why it's really important when you're talking to your doctor that you share with him all of your symptoms and your concerns. You're the most important person on your own healthcare team, and it's important that you have an adequate and accurate diagnosis so that you know what's your next best step. So I encourage all women, no matter how much you weigh, to go ahead and bring those concerns to your doctor. Make sure that you get that diagnosis. Make sure that we look a little bit further and don't just assume that because you're at a normal weight or you're even underweight that you don't have PCOS. Something else that I hear a lot and see a lot is that we assume that our doctor understands PCOS very well. And that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes the doctor will be under the assumption that if you aren't overweight, you don't have PCOS, or they're just not quite clear on the wide range of symptoms that can present with PCOS. And some women don't present with any symptoms. So it's really important that we take a look at everything that you have going on, again, so that you have that accurate diagnosis and also so that you have the proper support. Now, don't be afraid if you have a doctor who is not listening to you, or who is dismissive of your concerns, or maybe they're not willing to discuss all of your treatment options. You have the right to shop around for another doctor. That is not only something that's your right, it's something that you deserve. You deserve to have the very best care possible when you're dealing with PCOS, especially when you're trying to have a baby. So we want to make sure that we have everybody is on board that's on your team. Because again, this is all about you. I tell my clients, I am a resource. Your doctor is a valuable resource. Myself, your doctor, we're members of your team, but you're the VIP. You're the most important player here. And it's important that you feel comfortable with everybody on your team, that everybody is working towards your greater good. Another thing that I see is a very common myth is that you can cure PCOS. PCOS is not curable. Now, does that mean that you're destined to live a life of misery? Absolutely not. And I want you to know that there is help and hope for you. There's hope for you to have a baby if that's what your wish is and your want. There's hope. There is definitely hope. Women with PCOS are getting pregnant every single day. There's so much hope there for you to have a pregnancy as well. So while you're not necessarily ever going to find a cure for PCOS, there's definitely, you have the opportunity to mitigate or make those symptoms a lot less than what they are. And that's one of the ways that I assist women in becoming pregnant is we take a look at what's causing the symptoms of PCOS. And if we can take some very targeted approaches naturally to lessen some of those triggers that are causing the symptoms, we can actually help you to not only increase your insulin sensitivity, but also to regulate your hormones. And once that process starts to happen, that's when you're going to start to ovulate again if you're having issues with ovulation. And it's also once you start to ovulate again, once your body starts to achieve a level of balance that it hasn't had up to this point, that's when you're going to be ready to welcome a pregnancy, because that's ultimately the goal, is to have a healthy pregnancy. You need to have a healthy body. You need to have a body that's ready and willing to welcome that pregnancy. And we don't just want to get pregnant, we want to stay pregnant, and we want to have a healthy baby. So with those things in mind, that's one of the things that I work with my clients on, is helping them to have as healthy a body as possible so that we can have a healthy pregnancy and have a healthy baby. Okay, so another myth, and our fifth and final myth, and this is what I hear a lot, and I am excited to debunk the myth that you cannot get pregnant with PCOS. Shame on anyone who says so, because that is simply not the case. Women are getting pregnant with PCOS every single day. Women are having healthy pregnancies. Women are having healthy babies. And that's something that you can have too. It's a matter of figuring out what's going on in your body and what's going to work best for you. What needs to change in your body and in order for your body to welcome a baby. And that's what I work with women on, is getting their bodies healthy so that you're ready to get pregnant. So I hope that today we've gone over a few things and just looked at some of the common myths and things that just aren't true. But we tend to think that when we get into a place where we start to feel a little bit hopeless about what's going on and about the opportunity to become pregnant, when we start to feel like maybe that's not going to happen for us, we start to feel a little bit, you might start to feel a little bit hopeless. But you know what? There is hope. There's hope that you will have a healthy baby, have a healthy pregnancy. I pray and hope for you that that happens. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. We're always here. We're always glad to answer questions. And we thank you so much for being on this journey and all the wonderful things that are in store for you as you prepare your body for a healthy baby.